the Dolly Valentine thing, have you recorded before under your own name or?
No, I recorded before with a band called Holy Golden,
Uh-huh.
and we did a bunch of albums. That was kind of my first project really pursuing music. But I've always had a lot of different bands throughout my life. But Dolly Valentine's my it's my thing now. So
That's cool.
yeah.
And
But I'm most excited about it. It takes I was very, very young with all the other bands, and kind of finding your voice and your style and what feels
right.
good. So, it's been a fun exploration to kind of get to
So,
this
so
point.
for those who are unfamiliar with you, what is your voice and your style now? And what have you found out about yourself?
Well, I love storytelling.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like I've really kind of dug my heels into the storytelling aspect of music,
Right.
and it has more of a folk sound to it now, and even a little bit of a kind of country influence, slightly, at least with this album.
Right.
But I didn't really aim to sound like any one thing. I think I just kind of did what felt the most honest for me, and this is how the music became a little bit more homey, if that's the right way to describe it. Just
Uh-huh.
there's something very I really wanted to make music that felt comforting to listen to.
Right.
So that's kind
That's
of
something we could
a
use
lot of,
these days.
I know. I mean, always, I guess, but especially now. I think when I first started making music, I was working through so many things personally, and music's always been very therapeutic for me. But there's something very universal about Dolly Valentine's whole message, and also.
Right, right. Well, let's talk about the album some more. So you recorded it at Bear Creek Studios, which is in Washington.
Yes.
And
It's
what was
in,
the,
Woodinville, Washington.
sorry?
Woodinville, Washington. It's outside of
Woodinville.
Seattle.
Okay, great.
Woodinville. Yeah. It's a great place. It's an awesome studio.
And so what was the vibe like? Were you playing with a band? Do you had some people sitting in with you?
So there was different studio musicians who came in, and then we went there in, when was it? In December
Oh,
of
okay.
2019, and just kind of we did four songs and thought we would do an EP. And then the winter started passing by, and we decided to finish the album. And so we went back at the end of February, March. But yeah, we had awesome musicians that play in other bands. Like there was the cello player who plays in Brandy Carlisle's band, did the
Oh,
cello on the
nice.
album. So a lot of really cool musicians who are kind of part of the Bear Creek family, so to speak. And they
Right,
all
right.
came out, and it was kind of felt like a miracle that it all happened. It all worked out just in time. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So it's fairly fresh stuff. You finished recording like in February, did you say? So
In March.
March.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
We
And
finished recording in March.
then everything fell apart music-wise and
Yeah.
world-wise.
We
So
got so lucky with the timing of everything. And then we recorded one more song once I got back to Cape Cod. We did one song through the phone, but everything else was done in the studio. So.
And maybe you can talk to me a little bit about your songwriting process. Do you have songwriters that you kind of look back to and take inspiration from? What makes you kind of feel that you can do this and that you need to do it?
Well, I've always needed to write music or do something creative with my voice, but it's weird how songs come about. They sort of just like reveal themselves, is how my experience has been with them.
Right.
And I take a lot of time with songs. So all this, even though we recorded in a short period of time, the music, some of the songs took over a year to really live with and get right. But I guess I was listening to a lot of kind of like John Denver and Tom, like those kind of, like American, like nostalgic kind of feeling musicians. And I wanted to do something that had that kind of energy, but
Yep.
I just kind of waited for the songs to appear, and I wasn't in a rush, and they sort of stood up and took their time, and then I would live with the words until I felt right. So,
Right. Right.
but yeah, I'm really excited about how everything turned out, which is rare because normally as soon as I'm done with something, I'm not sure I like it. But so it's kind of surprising that I still like the music as much as I do at this point.
Cool.
You know,
Well, I can
yeah.
definitely hear the John Denver thing, especially on Everywhere Love. There's kind of that Rocky Mountain Sunshine
So
line
yeah,
in there. Yeah.
yeah,
It's,
yeah. I was in yeah, we were in Denver, and that song got written. So yeah,
there
kind
you
of
go.
we were
It all
in
makes
that environment. Yeah.
right. And let's see. The one song that I wanted to talk to you about was "Stupid Love Song" because it has a little bit of a more, for want of a better word, modern production sound to it and more eclectic sound in it. What were you thinking about when you were putting that one together?
So that one actually that song came in a dream, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But my writing partner and I, we both had different dreams about this tune, and then the words kind of came. But I kind of thought of it like almost like a Bonnie and Clyde sort of running, like two lovers on the run.
Right.
That song actually got recorded in LA with Sarah Tudson, her band is called Illuminati Hotties. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I've heard of them,
Illuminati
but I can't
Hotties.
say I'm
Yeah,
that familiar with them. But with a name
yeah,
like that, you got to remember them.
yeah, yeah. That's her project, and she's awesome. And we just kind of we did that song, and then it wasn't until almost a year later we remixed it with Ryan Hadlock, who at Bear Creek, and it just kind of became more and more poppy and like high production, and we added a lot of things to it. But yeah, it kind of just took on a life of its own. But that song definitely took the longest of all the songs on the album.
Interesting. Okay. And I noticed that their Michigan 1997 is on there, which apparently was the first song that you released as Dolly. Is
Mm-hmm.
this the original recording, or did you redo it for the album?
Though that's the original one.
Yeah.
We just remastered it for the
Okay.
album, but
And there's a male harmony vocal on there. Who's that singing?
Field Medic. His name is Kevin, but can you hear me okay? Yeah,
Yeah.
his name is Kevin, but he performs as Field Medic.
Oh,
And
Field Medic. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, and he is so talented. He's, I think, one of the greatest songwriters. And we actually asked him just basically 2 nights before recording if he could sing on it, and he did it. So it was awesome to have him there.
Cool.
Kind of
Cool.
added a lot. Yeah.
And the other song I wanted to touch on was "Flowers on the Highway," especially since you are in the Northeast, and there's a line about driving through Rhode Island. So,
Yep.
what can you tell me about that one?
So, yep. So I was living in Rhode Island when I decided to really pursue music as my life, so to speak. I mean, I'd always been doing it, but so it's a really special place to me. I don't know. Have you been there? To
I've
Rhode
driven
Island?
through it on the way to Massachusetts.
Had a similar experience, but yeah, it's so this whole album is very much inspired by all my travels and driving on the highways and
Right. Right.
being on the road a lot and traveling and moving from place to place and kind of not knowing where to be. As you know, you can tell with Michigan 1997, where do you want to go? And that
Yeah.
kind of feeling of always moving, which came to an abrupt end as soon as the album was over. But
Man, have you done
not for
much
the reason.
overseas as well, or are you mostly just traveling around the states?
Well, I would love to. That's what I was planning. We were planning to spend more time overseas. Actually, we were in England and Scotland and Ireland last year for a couple months, but we'll see. I mean, right now we're not really allowed to go anywhere. So
No.
even if we're being good and not but yeah, so we just have to see. It's kind of scary to think about it, but.
Oh, there was another song I wanted to touch on before we go. "Stay a While." Is that kind of autobiographical and born into a big family?
Oh
And all
yeah, that's very autobiographical. I would say that's probably the most personal song. Maybe, I mean, they're all super personal, but that
Right.
one's very personal. Yeah. I was born in Cincinnati, as you know, and I grew up there. I still have family there, and go back there quite often. My sister lives there. So it's kind of about growing up in Cincinnati, and I have a big family. It's about family. And I always had that thought that, you know, everywhere you are is somebody's home. So that kind of connects us all over the world.
Very good. Well, thank you. Have a nice day. Hope things get better everywhere.
I know.
And
it's morning for you, but it's nighttime for us. So we'll probably go make dinner or something like that. But have a nice day.
Oh, thank you very much. We'll see you.
Okay. Bye.